Origin Season Alpha is live, which means there is real money on the leaderboard and the competition is starting to get very tough. If you haven't seen a video lately, it's because I've been grinding in the arena, and despite the odds, I managed to make it to the top of the leaderboards, being the first person to make it into Challenger rank. Now, I used a bunch of different teams on my journey to the top 10, but there was one tried and true team that never let me down every time I relied on it, and that's the team I'll be showing you today. So without further ado, let's hop into this breakdown and figure out what makes this team tick. So this is the composition we're working with, and it's got all the elements of a great team. It's got 2 energy cards in Carrot in the midline and back. It's got 2 draw cards in Goldfish. My frontliner is my answer to Wall Gecko. Not only does it have Swallow to break through their shield, but also Tiny Turtle so I can stun them and prevent them from healing up. But the real secret of this team is my back laner. This reptile is insanely powerful, and it's because of its card set. It has Confident, Believer, and Little Branch, 3 cards that provide rage stacks. And if I play my cards right, I'll be going into Fury mode with ridiculous damage. And it gets even better considering that my energy card is a Carrot. Because instead of just providing me an extra energy like Nemo or Cottontail, this gets an extra bonus from my Fury mode because it deals bonus damage as well. This is truly a one-of-a-kind Axie. Now, since this is my damage dealer, of course, we've got the damage rune on there, plus 10 attack to any non-multi-hit attacks. And for the charms, I just went with Vitality charms all around, except for Little Branch. You know, Beast Charm of Power 2 is quite a lot of damage that I didn't want to pass up on. Now, let's talk about this mid laner. We've got a double curse card combination with Sleepless and Goda. Beautiful combination there. Void removes an energy from their turn, and Sleepless is an impossible to get rid of curse card. Very annoying. Now, Clover and Eggshell is a great combination as well. You can use Eggshell to block damage going into your front while playing Clover to slowly heal up your entire team. Goldfish is a great draw card, and Carrot is a great energy card. All around, just very well-rounded Axie right here. Now, in case my backliner dies to something like Blackmail, I want to make sure I have enough damage output on this Axie to get me into the late game. So, of course, I've got a damage charm on here as well, Tough Strike. But we see just Vitality charms on here because that health is so valuable. Now, our front laner is probably the one that is the least optimized, but he's very interesting and he definitely works for what I need him for. So the whole reason of having this Axie is to deal with backline wall geckos. When they bring you into Blood Moon versus the 1v3, it is very annoying and very tough to defeat them, but this guy just solves all my problems. Swallow and Tiny Turtle is the perfect combination to destroy wall geckos. And for an added bonus, I have Puppy, which is very beneficial in helping me get into Fury mode. Now, because this is our frontliner and most likely to have damage on it almost always, we have leftover potions, so we have a little bit of passive healing going on between turns. And for the charms, we went with Vitality everywhere except for Swallow. Because we use Swallow for the wall gecko comps, I feel like just having a little bit more damage on there makes sense. Alright, now that you've seen the full team breakdown, let's hop into the first match. Alright, so I'm going second, and these 2 matches are up against fellow Meditate member Wham, so definitely a tough opponent. He goes ahead and plays the Mavis in the back to start getting that energy value early. I go in with a Carrot, and we go in with the big damage Little Branch and start getting those rage stacks on my backliner. Now, you'll realize that his Mavis actually has 24 health, and that's because he has the Incubator Charm on his midline. And he has Energy Guru on the backline for some huge damage. So this is definitely a really tough team to go against. So he plays Taunt in the front. Razor bites the back. He gives me a Blackmail for my following turn. This is going to be a tough card draw. Let's see what we draw into. So we get some good energy value at the very least. So what I decided to do is play the Blackmail on the back lane to provide taunt there, then play the Eggshell to the front lane to then divert the attention to the front so I'm not getting damage on my main damage dealer. I take out their frontline Axie, place up some shield. That goo card can be pretty clutch, especially considering we're going against a bird team. They rely on card draw to get max energy output. Those Mavises don't help them if their card draw is full of curse cards. If I can get the Sleepless and the Daze Mavis in there as well, it could give me an edge. Now, I'm going in for some big damage here. I don't really have any surprises up my sleeve. I would Tiny Turtle first to give him stun, but unfortunately, that mechanic is broken right now against Taunt, and he just barely manages to survive with 55 health, but I do leave him with weak, so his damage output isn't going to be quite as big as it would have been. But unfortunately, all his attack cards are coming from his backliner, and between that Tiny Dino and the Eggshell, it is not looking good for me. And he still has enough energy left over to summon both of his Mavises. I am in a terrible position. He is going to be using every single card in his hand next turn, and probably more. Now I've got some very tough decisions to make. Clover in the middle, Sleepless to get those curse cards in there. Now I'm going to blackmail to divert attention to the back. I'm hoping he draws into enough revenge cards that he can't actually get the kill. And then you'll see I used one energy to retain my Belieber. I need a way to get rid of those birds so that I can start attacking into those Axies. Now he applies Taunt to his front lane with Eggshell, and then Hair allows him to draw another card. Mosquito brings him halfway there, but he can't quite get the kill, and he's forced to use his revenge cards instead on my front lane. Now, as my turn starts, I will get some leaves from the Clover, giving me some passive healing in between turns, and I am able to kill that front lane with a Goda and a Carrot. Now, this is the move that saved my life right here. Belieber! Killing all 3 Mavises, giving me 3 rage stacks into the next turn, and I am able to throw out a Goldfish for a little bit of extra damage. But it really was returning that Belieber that gave me the edge. Now watch this. He is dealing so much damage with that Energy Guru every time he attacks. That is 8 damage across the board, and because I have 8 rage stacks, that is going up to 16 damage on my backlaner. One more attack would have killed me. If he had one more Mavis, he would have thrown out that Tiny Dino, and I'd be a goner. But we made it into the next turn. Confident brings me into Fury mode, and a little branch finishes the game for our victory. That was one of the most clutch matches I think I've ever had, and again, I think it all came down to the ability to return that Belieber and save it for the following turn. I absolutely love that function. Now, I also want to tell you that just having the best Axies doesn't necessarily give you the edge. Let's hop into the next match and you'll see what I mean. Alright, so I'm going first this time, and again it's against Wham. Same team, no changes. This is a tough hand. I want to play Little Branch and then puppy the Little Branch and pull it back to the top of my deck, but I can't do any of that. All I could do is play Goda, and I can't even puppy the Goda back because Goda is an unstable card. But at least we get the Void in there now. Luckily, he drew into both of his hairs early, so he's going to be getting a lot less card draw as we get into the later rounds of this deck cycle. Now I use Confident on my backlane to start stacking those rage counters. Eggshell my mid to apply Taunt, and now I'm going to play Sleepless to get those curse cards shuffled in there and hopefully flood his deck just enough to give us a little bit of an edge. Now let's see what he draws into here. Good hand for him. He's able to heal up the front, 40 health with the Nemo ear. He taunts the front, but don't be fooled because he's going to taunt the mid as well. I think he should have played the Pigeon Post. That may have been a slip up, but nevertheless he goes for high damage, gets a decent amount on my midline, and it's back to my turn. Now I play the Blackmail on the back to divert attention away from my front and stall this game out a little bit longer. Hopefully I can draw into my Clover and start to heal up across the team. So I just go for big damage here, and I play the Snail Shell, of course, to get the curse card shuffled into his deck and ruin his card draw. Now, unfortunately, he realized I played Shield, and his hand is perfectly stacked here. He has 3 Mavises, so he goes ahead and plays all 3 of them down. Remember, they have 32 health each. These Mavises are going to be lasting till the end of the game. I finally find my Clover, so that is some good news for us. I attack into the front, kill that first Mavis, and I don't have enough damage to take out his frontliner, so he is getting full card draw, full value, full damage output. It is ridiculous. So many of those cards are 0 cost, and he is going to hit me with so much right now. It is scary. On top of that, He has the taunt to the back line so he can continue to taunt juggle and prevent the death on his frontliner, preventing me from killing those 2 Mavises in the back line, guaranteeing him 2 more free energy in the following turn. This is a terrible situation. I do get huge value from the little branch, gaining 4 stacks of rage because I was able to summon a second Clover, giving me a little bit more sustainability in the late game after he kills off that front lane Axie. His card draw is not the greatest here. He draws into the Daze and the Void on the same turn, but it doesn't stop him. He still gets full energy value. Plays another Mavis in the front. Although his frontliner is taunted now, I am going to be able to take that out with a carrot. Goodbye. Goodbye. Unfortunately, I did not draw the Believer this time. It would have been clutch. I would have been able to go into Fury mode and do a little bit more damage, but I'm just left with Revenge Swords, and there's nothing I can do about it. He's got a full turn here. He can just dive straight into my damage dealer. And remember, he's gaining extra damage for every single rage stack on every single one of those cards. Now I'm thinking, okay, perfect. Next turn, I get Believer, I get Carrot, I get Little Branch, and Confident, and I just take them all out all at once, but he has the kill here with a Revenge Sword for the clutch victory, and that is a defeat for me. I think this last balance patch brought so much life and competitive possibilities to Origin. The game is so much more fun now. There are so many more options for outplaying your opponent. I'm absolutely loving it. And I cannot wait to get back into the arena and keep grinding the leaderboards. If you liked this video and want to see the other comps I come up with through our journey into Lunacia, then go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. And until next time, I'll see you in the arena.